order, and we appreciate it if, glad to see Lee came back, or I was gonna have to say the prayer, so nobody wants that. And he's gonna say the prayer, and then Charlene Larson, our auditor, is gonna lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So take off your hats and.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before this time grateful for the many blessings we're so richly blessed with here in Box Elder County. And we would ask a blessing at this time, Father, to be upon us in this meeting, that we can have a civil discourse and continue to carry out the business of the people of Box Elder County, that we will to take care of these things that need to be taken care of, and we can continue to allow county government and the important work of the people to move forward here in Box Elder County. We pray that thou will bless and watch over those who are in need of special blessings from thee, that thou can bless them and let them know that they are thy children. We pray that thou will bless those who are serving in the military and those who are serving abroad, and the people in the Middle East that are suffering at this time. We ask a blessing to be upon those innocent people, that they can be blessed with thy spirit to help them through their trying times. We ask you to bless those who serve us in our community in all forms of government service. And we pray that thy spirit will be with us this day and always, and say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody, for participating. It looks like we've got a couple things of minutes to approve. One, and then the corrected minutes from 9:13. I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes from 9/20/23
You can do them both at the same time.
and the corrected minutes from 9/13 of 2023.
Okay.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye. Administrative reports, review, future agenda items. You got anything?
Yeah, I wondered, I'm new to this game, but I'm just wondering, do we ever sit down annually and review policies and procedures for the county?
Yeah, we do them directly depending on where you're going from. I don't know which ones you're looking at, but yeah, we do it regularly. Anything from HR to roads to,
So do we do that in a department head meeting, or when do we do that?
you would just ask the department head to see if they've looked over whatever it is, so
Okay, yeah.
just bring it up and
Yeah,
ask them.
okay, thanks.
Okay. Have you got anything, Lee?
No.
No?
No.
Apparently, I need to put that Travis UD on the next agenda for that waiver of fees for that fundraiser for that little girl with cancer. For the 1st of November, we might have to pass that after the fact. So apparently he didn't get on the agenda today like I told him to. So, I don't know if you know Travis, but he's actually works part-time for the county once in a while. I think this is his third fundraiser for somebody in our valley. So this year, he does amazing work. So we'll put that on for the 1st of November and go from there. I was just going to tell you, I received a text last week from an individual corporation talking about Box Elder County and what we do with the Spike 150 group. It was very concerning to me that he questioned not only my integrity, which questions the integrity of the voters since they voted me in. Went so far as to question my dead parents' opinion of me going forward on how they thought of me. I've got in my hands the in-kind services that we've done so far for over $250,000, and the other $200,000 we passed at the first of this. So total together, we're almost at $500,000 to this Spike 150. So just in case anybody wants anybody to know or anything we're doing, then it's just out front, and people can know about that. So we have those things in our possession to be able to back things up, along with other things that we've donated in-kind services also. So I just want to let people know about that. And then we had the opportunity to go to out to the Delta hangar at the airport. They announced a big initiative for all the colleges in the state to start an AI, so artificial intelligence, to be able to combat artificial intelligence and do things on higher education. It was a pretty amazing group, what they were talking about, that some things are happening right now. And so I was really, really amazed at how many people they brought together for that. And then to do a renaming of the aerospace thing that we're a part of because of Northrop Grumman. And I think Governor Cox did an amazing job talking about Utah and its future. And I got to have this quote that it was Utah policy. When Governor Cox said, "We've always been a weird state," he says, "We're weirder now than ever. And our country needs some Utah weird right now." And I love that quote. So, and I'm with him that we've been a peculiar people for a long time, and peculiar, weird, whatever you talk about, that's the reason people are coming here, is because it's been such a great managed state, and we see a lot of that stuff happening outside of our borders, and people want that, to be able to come here and feel safe. And so I thought that was an amazing quote by Governor Cox. So I'm done talking now for a bit. Anything, emergency management issues, Kev?
Commissioner, one thing we want to point out is that the Golden Spike, or the spike that is coming to Utah, will be here on the 23rd. So next Monday, it'll arrive at our state capitol, where it'll be on display. And then eventually it will be out at the new Reeder Park, which is on West Forest Street. But that'll be going in operation beginning of next summer is when you'll see that start to go up. So.
Yeah, and like I said, as for the text, we support the project. I would just kind of question the motives behind everything that went on with that. So, yeah, I think it'll be amazing once we get it done. And, hopefully they realize that Box Elder County's, no matter what they do with it, it's still going to be in Box Elder County. So, thanks, Lee. Any ARPA stuff, Charlene? We good till the budget?
Spending the rest of that for budget
Okay.
right now, so.
The ARPA. Okay. All right. It's up to Lee now, Box Elder County employee recognition.
Yes. Okay. So just so you're all aware, as we've carried on this employee recognition, we've asked for various, the public, department heads, everyone to contribute and tell us who they think the people who are that are contributing and making our county a better place to live and work. And this particular employee was actually nominated by two different folks, one her immediate supervisor, and then their supervisor over that. One of our elected officials, Sean Thornley, forwarded on the same recommendation along with her supervisor, Scott Singleton, and they asked to nominate Stacy Miles for Employee of the Month. For those who don't know, Stacy works over at our DMV office, which is an office that we as a county provide as a service to the citizens of Box Elder County, because we actually put those employees over there to serve the citizens here in this county with that ability to get their DMV records taken, things that they need taken care of with their license plates. Just to give you some idea, Stacy works at the DMV and is in the first window as you walk in the door there. When you enter the building from the parking lot, due to that layout, she gets the majority of the customers who walk in, whether they're happy or whether they're not happy. She handles a large flow of customers without complaining and always has a positive attitude. The monetary reports that we can pull up clearly show how busy Stacy is, and when customers stack up, she always directs them to another window for service. Stacy's always looking for opportunities to take in extra duties and has never been a "that's not my job" kind of a person. She's a hard worker and a delight to work with, and those are just some of the many reasons, and I think a lot of people who've had interactions with Stacy would appreciate that. So with that, we'd like to congratulate Stacy Miles as our Box Elder County Employee of the Month. Can I convince Stacy to come back in here and get her certificate from us? I know she's being humble here, but we appreciate it. Would you please come forward for us, Stacy?
You gotta get a picture.
Will you at least come get your certificate?
Yes, a certificate, picture, yeah.
Do we have to go back there to get a picture?
We can come to see you, but we want to give you a certificate. We appreciate all you do for our county. what you got.
You don't want no evidence of this, huh?
It's true. And we want to make sure that you get rewarded, and we want to make sure you hear your staff and folks who still to go to dinner. So when we take you to dinner, or we bring dinner to you, that's going to be your choice. All right? Thank you.
Thanks.
I hate you.
Scott,
Our supervisor's going to have some
I'd take
penance
the
to pay
long
now.
way around if I were you to go back to work. Wow. Okay, we have another great thing to come up. I'm not sure if I could even say this correctly, but our tourism director got inducted into the Tourism Hall of Fame for the state, 2 weeks ago? And how cool is that to have our Joni Hammer be inducted into the Tourism Hall of Fame with 2 other people? I'm supposed to tell you hi from Mike Deaver. And he said that the tourism and everything in Box Elder County just goes around through Joan, and she's done such an amazing job for, I'm not gonna say how many years, because that will date us, right? Oh, 23. So she's been here when Box Elder County still didn't have anything on the map on the television, so we've changed that too, right, Joni? Do you want to come up here and just so we can get a picture with you and recognize you for all the good work you've done throughout the years and having to put up with? When I first got here, she told me she was going to put in a swear jar.
And I did.
I know. I told her she better start a 401k.
He's the reason I have a Diet Coke. Money in the square card to buy Diet Coke.
Will you come up here so we can, or do you want us to come down there? Come up here and then we'll get a picture. How proud we are. Thank you. That was amazing.
You were here when I said something. You're fine. I don't know my things. Thank you. One more big slam. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
No. No? You gonna tell Scott you hate him too?
He left.
That's right. I'm your supervisor, so you just say you hate me? Hope not. She's got a great thing going on this week too. The Utah Office of Tourism is gonna be coming up to Box Elder Thursday night and then all day Friday. So hopefully we get to see you both times. So we can't thank Joni enough for everything she's done. So thank you. And now we get to hear from Brandon Vonk. You got company, you want to come up and introduce your guys' self? Pull a chair up and just introduce you guys' self.
I'm Brandon Vonk, I'm the hospital administrator. They've changed it to hospital president.
You can just sit in front of the mic and pull the mic up so you can talk to us, so.
Yeah, I've been with Intermountain for 22 years. It'll be 5 years in November with Bear River Valley Hospital.
Wow.
So I'm grateful to be here. This is part of something I must do in order to maintain our nonprofit status. You'll see that I have 5 minutes. I'm grateful for only 5 minutes, and I think the people behind me are even more grateful. So I promise you that I'll go through these slides quickly, and
Okay.
my colleague can attest that I cut 20 slides out. I said I'm not going to go over that and bore these poor community members. So we'll go over just what's important, and we'll be done, and you guys can get back to your real community business. So thank you, and if you'll bear with me, I'll be fast.
Okay.
So our mission is to help people live the healthiest life possible. Those that are familiar with Intermountain, they're aware that Intermountain was a gift to the community. It originally belonged to the LDS Church. It almost pains my heart that we didn't, that we still don't have some level of religious partnership there, because we've now partnered with other entities, and those folks have not shied away from their mission. As you can see, some of the hospitals that we own now, their mission has stayed intact. With the mission of our Catholic entities, and you can read their mission there. But just wanted to point that out for those that may not have known that the church or the hospitals did once belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and so it was welcoming to have that opening prayer, even though it can feel very strange. You talk about us being unique in Utah. I think we are unique in a lot of ways, and I hate it that if we ever make people feel uncomfortable, that's not our intention.
Right.
You can see here that this is Intermountain Healthcare's current footprint. We were mostly only in Utah and Idaho for many years, and now you can see all the states that surround and the areas that we partner with. I mean, we go all the way up to Montana and as far east over there in Kansas. And a lot of these other areas we've been involved with for a couple years, but we continue to expand that footprint. And we do that not because we feel like it's important, but it's actually a necessity. As healthcare becomes more and more complex, more expensive, smaller organizations will not be able to thrive. And so we've done this because we've had to. Next slide. This is our bold ambition, is to be the model system, but our goal is really to keep people healthy, healthier for less. Those that live in the state of Utah and haven't been elsewhere, they might find this very difficult to believe, but Bear River Valley Hospital, we've had the lowest cost per case in the state of Utah for the last 3 years, meaning for every patient that we come in, on average, we have the lowest costs. I can't speak for other hospitals in the state, but for Intermountain Healthcare, we provide the lowest cost per case, and we have been doing that year over year. And so we're proud of that. We try really hard to keep the prices as low as possible. And since I've been at Bear River Valley Hospital, in just those 5 years, I've reduced the number of leaders at Bear River by about 25%. And I think I could do even more, but that does directly impact real people. So it's important that we balance there. Next slide. Now, we are a non-for-profit organization, and so it is important for us to meet the laws that govern that status. And again, like I stated, I'm here today because this is one of the things that I must do. Next slide.
Well, can we say, Brandon, that the state actually makes you come here? I mean, it's not us.
Yes.
The state actually passed a law that they have to come here and represent what they do for nonprofit to keep their nonprofit status. So
That is true.
it's not that we don't want to talk to you,
The
but
state doesn't force you to give me 15 minutes.
right.
So 5
Thank
minutes is
heavens.
plenty. So thank you. A few statistics about Intermountain. I talked about the number of states that we're in. We have 33 hospitals now, 4,800 licensed beds, 385 clinics. You can see we have 60,000 plus caregivers. We have our own insurance company, which makes us very unique and has helped us to thrive and maintain that ability to serve our population. Almost $14 billion in revenue, and you can see the number of physicians and employees APPs that we employ. Next. We try to be here for those times that are expected and for those that are not. At Bear River Valley Hospital, we are a rural hospital, and so obviously we don't offer things like brain surgery and heart transplants and those interventions, but we feel like we are a great blessing and resource to the people in our community. And I'm sure the hospital here in Brigham feels the same way about their community. And so it's interesting that we have such a good relationship with the hospital in Brigham. It seems to me like we are not in a competitive mode. We feel like there's enough business for both entities, and we strive very hard to be thoughtful and considerate of the two communities and why we're here and who we're here to serve. You can see that we have 140 caregivers, 16 licensed beds, and those that are truly familiar with Bear River Valley Hospital, we have one very popular cafe. We were voted Restaurant of the Year once, a couple years ago. Either that's a sign that we need more restaurants in Fremont, or we really are that good. But we're grateful for the ladies that serve our community from the cafe. They are truly a blessing to our community. And we're adding multiple specialties, and so we're grateful for the support from our community. Next slide.
Seems like a little bit of an oxymoron to say, hey, dear, let's go to the hospital and get something to eat, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing how much business has been stirred up through those ladies in the cafe where they talk about the different services that we can provide as they've recognized different needs from those patrons, and so I should maybe pay them more. We are one of the very few hospitals in the state of Utah that has seen an increase in deliveries. Every hospital in the state is seeing those numbers go down, fewer deliveries. And although 121 babies delivered in 2022 doesn't seem like a lot, we are seeing more deliveries year over year, while other hospitals are seeing fewer. You can see the surgeries performed and the emergency room visits. And I'd like to highlight our emergency room in another slide. This just happened last Thursday. We were able to expand our emergency department waiting room and also add 2 triage rooms. This was a $1 million capital project that was just completed. If you were ever in our emergency room department before, you would have been able to hold about a fourth of these people. It was quite embarrassing. And before I arrived to this hospital, there was just a door out there that you would knock on, and they would eventually let you in. There was no waiting room. And so we are growing, and we're trying to make key decisions that will benefit our community. We do feel like this will continue to improve our throughput. If you think about when you go into a new restaurant you've never been to, if you go into that restaurant and there is no one there, does that make you want to eat there more or less?
Yeah.
Less. It's opposite for an emergency room. If you walk into an emergency room and it's full, it doesn't mean that they actually provide quality care. You may be there forever. And so our throughput is something that we're proud of, and we believe that the 2 triage rooms that we've added will continue to help us with throughput and what we call LOTs, left without treatment, LFTs, left without treatment. And so I'll move through this. I've probably taken my 5 mints. I saw you look at your watch.
Something buzzed, sorry.
This is really the slide that's most important in order for our not-for-profit status. This is the charity care that we've delivered at Bear River Valley Hospital. The actual community benefit to the community, that's the overall value and services that we provide. The total gift, you can see those 2 added together. That's the capital improvement that we did in the emergency department. We're about to also add a new rehab facility on our campus that's going to be a $3.5 million build, and we'll start that project, the planning of that project next month. And you can see the uncollected bad debt that we've not sought after. Next slide. I won't go through these again. You can see those numbers, and we'll get through this and close it up to see if we have any questions. First, again, I thank you for your time. I thank you for the community being patient with me. And so any questions from the community members or from the commissioners?
I've had the opportunity to serve underneath you for the 5 years, so I appreciated everything that you've been able to do and bring to the community and the growth. And like you said, the emergency room stuff, was needed, and Brandon was able to go to Intermountain Health and get that done along with your next project. So he was sick of me, so graduated me to the corporate level. So I get to go to the corporate board now and talk to Intermountain Health about how great rural hospitals are. And in my position in the nation, when I go to some of these boards, like Brandon said, rural hospitals are closing at a miraculous rate throughout the rest of the country because it's such a drag on everything else. So we are very lucky and blessed to have Intermountain Health be a part of not only Utah, but surrounding areas. And I think the surrounding areas now will be able to see how Intermountain Health will bless those lives in those areas also.
If I could just say one more thing and I'll leave, and that's that we've been we've obtained the recognition of a top 100 hospital the last 3 years running. And I need you to understand that's based on all rural and community hospitals in our nation. We're talking about thousands and thousands of community and rural hospitals, and we are in the top 100, only 100 hospitals, and we've achieved that 3 years in a row, and that's based on our cost per case, our quality outcomes, safety, et cetera. And so we are smaller, but what we do a damn good job.
And that's what I said when I'm in the corporate world and they start talking about Bear River Valley, my chest just pops out because that's where we're from and where we grow. And it's amazing that we have this kind of health care here. We appreciate that. You guys got any questions?
Well, I was gonna say, for those of us who've been there, we appreciate it. It's a good hospital.
Thank you.
Next year, your emergency room visits are gonna go down because I haven't been there half as much this next coming
That's
year.
not
So
what we wanted. Thank you.
thank you. Thanks for your time. We are going to approve a new board member for the Portage Cemetery. Have you got any questions for Todd? He's actually in the back room, so.
Up there.
No, you can just, it depends if you want. Yeah, come on up.
We usually do this, I was also,
Okay.
so I need some information.
Yeah, Marley usually makes the recommends because they usually don't come, so just, just sit down and
Robert Gibbs. Yeah.
tell us who you are and where
I'm
you're
Todd
from.
Gibbs. I'm from Portage. I'm on the Portage Cemetery Committee. Robert Gibbs was the president. He didn't sign, or didn't come back on his last term as of January 2022.
Okay,
So we've only had 2 board members. So we're trying to get a 3rd one back on there.
okay,
And so we advertised it, put it out. Only had one person that was interested. He sent me a letter, so
okay,
he lives in the district. He doesn't live in Portage, he lives in the surrounding area, so.
okay.
But
I
he is in.
appreciate your time. I don't think anybody knows that being on these districts and stuff, talk about a thankless job. We think our jobs are bad, but honestly, all the things you guys do for your community is appreciated by those of us that watch. So I'd entertain a motion for,
Is this for Dusty Allen or Robert Gibbs?
Dusty Allen.
he's
That's who
taking
we're
Rob.
nominating,
Yeah,
okay.
he's
That's what I just
taking-
want to make sure I got that right.
So I entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Dusty Allen to the Portage Cemetery District.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming down. It's good to see you.
There is a board member training coming up. You'll be getting a little invite in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So it'll be good for him to learn about open meetings and all that fun stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for coming down. Looks like we're at the attorneys, and I don't see Annie here. It's you? Okay.
This is an agreement that was presented to us by Brigham City to extend storage at a shed that we're sharing with Brigham City.
Right.
Few adjustments were made to the agreement, but it seems to be acceptable. It's been reviewed by our office and it looks good to us. It extends it for another 20 years with a couple of 5-year options to renew at the end of that. And that's for the storage of tourism and recreation items, equipment.
Okay. You guys got any questions?
Yeah, I do, I just can't vocalize them. So is there a fee involved with this, or what's the deal?
There is not a fee. Brigham City agrees to provide electricity and water and fire service to the building
For
in
free?
exchange for getting the storage space in the building.
And how much storage space? Is there a percentage that they use? A percentage that we use?
I don't know how big the building is altogether. They're using 2,500 square feet, but I couldn't tell you
It's
how big.
probably just a quarter of the building because we took over where the sheriff was and then Joni has the other side. So they're probably maybe a quarter of the building.
So the building is how big?
2,500 times 3, so probably 7,500 square feet.
Yeah, I don't know for sure the size of that building.
It's about that. And then that's where we have our greenhouses and things too, is down by that building, on that footprint, so. Okay, if no other questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make the motion to renew the lease agreement with Brigham City.
I'll second it.
Is it the 2312?
Yeah, it's Resolution 2312.
Okay. I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Charlene, I think you're up.
Is there 2 of them? 2379. We actually need to also,
Oh, was there another one?
so yeah, the first one is Resolution 2312 approving the interlocal agreement. The second one is the actual contract,
Oh, there was 2
which is
numbers there. I didn't see.
2379. So I'd make the motion to, we approve the signature on the contract, 2379.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Charlene, go ahead.
I'm not sure which one I had first on the agenda, but Charlene Larson, County Auditor. I'm asking for approval to allow a active duty armed forces property tax exemption from a prior year. They had extenuating circumstances that I emailed you all, Utah code that allows for an additional year to do that, but I need approval of the legislative body to do that.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I would make the motion that we approve that prior year active duty military property tax exemption.
Second.
Read the paperwork. So,
And
And this year. right?
No, because
Oh,
you can only get it for the year following so many days of active
Okay.
duty service.
for that
So
one
they
year.
have to
Just for that year.
reapply for
Okay.
each year. Yeah.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we have two low-income abatement applications. There's a income limit of $38,369 per year in order to get the state and county portion. And I have the Burtons that are over by $513. I'm approaching you to see if we will give them at least the 50% county portion, as they have included a hardship statement with that as well, and being able to pay their property tax.
Saw that, so I'm okay with that.
That was the Burton, Darwin
Yep.
Burton, right?
Darwin Burton and Gloria Burton.
Okay. I would make that motion to follow your recommendation to grant a 50% property tax reduction
Just from the county, right?
just for the county.
Okay.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
And the next one, same circumstance, it's for Richard Christensen. They're over the limit by $405, and also filled out a hardship statement and would like to see if we can give them a 50% reduction for the county portion.
Okay.
Make a motion to give a 50% reduction on county portion.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
One question I have for you before you go, though. I do know, and I don't know specifically there are two situations, but I know the legislature passed some things where they could freeze their property tax.
For 75 and over.
Is it 75? I couldn't remember what the age limit, is it 75
It's a
and older?
new one, and we'll be implementing that the first of the
So
year.
we are sharing that information with people so they're aware of that.
We'll put that out there starting in 2024.
And I can just tell you that Commissioner Perry and I worked on that for how many years prior to that
Long
happening?
time, yeah.
Long time.
Anyway,
So-
just want to make sure that that's
Yeah.
out there for the public. to
Yeah,
be
we
aware of.
need to probably get it on the website and start
It would be
informing
good
them for
added,
next
yep.
year.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, thanks, Charlene. 1206 is discussion on the PM 2.5 air quality. I've been working on this for, seems like forever, probably a decade. It came to my attention that some of the things that were happening in the county, we had a couple of companies come here and basically left here because we're in non-attainment at the time. So we went to the state and actually got some money to have some engineering services come in and go through everything that the state and federal did back when they put us in with Salt Lake Valley. We have now come through that whole thing and gave it to DEQ, and it proves that Box Elder County should have never been put into the 2.5 non-attainment. And hopefully, we will continue to work that so farmers can still burn. We can still have people like Nucor and such not have to buy air credits, which sounds really stupid, and it is, to be able to stay in business. I call it environmental blackmail. And so hopefully we'll continue to be able to make that happen in the future, that we'll be able to break Box Elder off of the Wasatch Front. So I was just letting everybody know that I don't sit back and just play on Facebook all day. So you guys got any questions about that?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay. Ratification of signatures for letter support for electric vehicle charging substations. That came before us a little while ago.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we ratify the signatures that we put on the support for electric vehicle charging stations that occurred between commission meetings that we had to take care of.
Okay.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Second. I'm sorry.
I got them, sorry, I thought to move so you can hear. I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion request for a donation for the Chinese railroad workers. We have been approached by the Chinese railroad workers to help them with a monument. I just got a text from her while we were sitting here. Lee was very surprised that the state was gonna let them do that. They've got permission to be able to do that. They're asking for $50,000. It doesn't necessarily have to come from us, but they would like our help in fundraising and such. So I guess if somebody gives us back 200,000, I would say we could spend 50 to that, but I don't know what you guys think, but the text actually said that they've got permission, that they will put Box Elder County as a sponsor on the wall down at the state capitol. So
So if we approve this, we're committing ourselves to a donation?
To help,
What does help mean?
things I do best, I guess. Raise funds and, I mean, I think we still have, what, $1 million, $2 million in Biden bucks plus, and this is acceptable off of that also. So it'd be up to you guys. I can't make a motion, so I can forward you the text. I think I've sent them to both of you before, so.
I don't have any problem supporting it. I just don't know what we can afford to do.
Okay.
I mean, I think we can support the concept, but I think we need to look at the budget, which we'll be dealing with at the next meeting before we make any appropriation amount.
I will let her know that. So we have
So we need a motion to table till our next meeting.
that'd be great. Got a
I'll make
motion by
a-
Commissioner Bingham. Do we have a second
Second, yeah.
to table this? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Scott. It's the Scott Lyons Show. Come on down. No plot maps?
No,
Slacking?
not today. All right, today we have two ordinances. Ordinance 587 is the first one. This one is a little bit of a mishmash because it's just cleaning up essentially two sections of the land use code.
Ordinances
Um,
right now.
So the first section that it's addressing is regarding annexations. So if you recall, earlier this year, an annexation policy was adopted that anytime there is development proposed within the annexation area of a city or town, or within a certain distance of that city or town, if they don't have an annexation area adopted, or if development, improvement, or building would be using utility provided by one of those municipalities, then that property owner would need to go to the city or town to request annexation prior to going through the development process with the county. The goal of that being long-term land use planning. So oftentimes these cities and towns have their infrastructure plans that are projected to how they're going to expand, how they're going to handle growth within their annexation areas. And so this allows them to look at those and decide, yes, it makes sense for us to annex this area and start working with that property owner now, as opposed to the property owner putting in development that includes, septic when the city already had plans for,
Annexation of that property.
yeah, annexation and sewer and
water.
other sewer or water infrastructure, whether that's, additional lift stations, treatment facilities, whatever, right in that area. So it allows for better long-range,
So Scott, can I ask a
Planning.
question?
yeah.
Is that annexation area or the distance, is it either or what is that?
Actually, right now, the state made it to where you can actually have islands. We're going through that right now. So you can have an island that's not even, what do you want to say, concurrent to the
Correct.
city. So they can annex basically an island if it fits all the qualifications they passed last year or the year before.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it is an either or, yes. So if they have an annexation plan, then, or area map, then if it falls within that, then that would trigger it. And if they don't, then it would be based off of a distance.
okay, because I'm familiar with one that we've discussed this very issue about making sure your infrastructure improvement meets the requirements of the neighboring city.
Right. And that's the cities have actually reached out to us and make sure that the cities basically wanted this. So we knew what they were doing and they knew what we were doing. So we didn't have those type of
Yeah,
problems.
prior to the adoption of this policy, we made sure that we ran it past all the, in fact, it was a couple cities that instigated the policy. We drafted it and then we ran it past, all the cities through the county, both via email and at multiple mayors' meetings. So that annexation policy was adopted. Now, some legal things have happened since then at the state level as far as case law goes. And our original intent with the policy was when someone came in with a development application or, and here's why we're recommending that it be amended, is because previously, it did not include what is called a legislative application. So, rezones, for example. So if someone is on the border of Tremont and City and wants to change their zoning from agriculture to commercial, the intent was that they would have to go to Tremont and City, request annexation, and then they could change the zoning and move forward with the project. Because cities as well, in those annexation areas, they often have future zoning maps, and those future zoning maps show their planned land uses and zones beyond their borders. And so there was a legal case in the Park City, Summit County area where land use law was established that zoning application is not a land use application, it is a legislative application. And so our annexation policy just stated land use application, so the recommended addition is that it state both land use application or legislative application, so that those property owners can begin working with the city, let's say, on a commercial project from the get-go, as opposed to establishing zoning at the county, but then having to go work on the development with the city. It would be kind of putting all of that together with the city if they desire, and if they don't desire, then they'll work on all of it with the city. So that's the first change in that ordinance. The second one is a cleanup from like 2 years ago, 1 to 2 years ago, when the county redid its definitions and uses with regard to home businesses and home occupations. They used to be two separate uses with different regulations and allowances and things like that. So that one is basically in several zones. What was allowed as a home business is home businesses are no longer a thing. It's all classified underneath home occupation. And so for some reason, we overlooked that home business was still listed as an allowed use. Home businesses no longer exist because of that. They're all classified as home occupations. So it's just cleaning up the code and removing that line from the code. Anyway, so those are the two changes as part of Ordinance 587. Just updating the annexation policy and cleaning up the home business aspect of the code.
Okay, you guys got any questions?
So that's what the planning commission is recommending.
Yeah, so these both went to, this text change went to the planning commission at their September meeting. Public hearing was held and the planning commission recommended the approval for these changes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 587 for the ordinance text amendment.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, second ordinance we have is ordinance 588. So this ordinance is adding section 5-1-370 to the land use code. It's proposed to add a section of code that regulates multiple family dwellings. It would also affect some other sections of code if adopted, and just remove some language from other sections. So the main thing here is essentially, I'll give some quick background on this. So 6 months ago, it was requested that as staff, we look into pros and cons of multiple family housing in unincorporated Box Elder County, with the idea of limiting or disallowing it throughout the county, unincorporated areas only. So incorporated areas such as Tremont and Brigham City, Garland, Willard, Perry, any of those incorporated cities, they have their own land use codes and their own regulations with regard to this. So it was looked into, information was presented at multiple planning commission meetings as part of their working reports section of the meeting. Ultimately, last month, September 21st, the planning commission held a public hearing, and there was a large turnout. We had a lot of input from the public, and the planning commission, following the public hearing, made a recommendation to the county commission that based on their findings, so for land use code amendment, the following needs to be found: that the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the county's general plan, that the proposed amendment is harmonious with the overall character of existing development in the area, so in this case, that would be all of unincorporated Box Elder County, that the proposed amendment would not adversely affect adjacent property, and that facilities and services, including but not limited to roadway, parks, and recreation facilities, police and fire protection, schools, stormwater drainage systems, water supplies, and wastewater and refuse collection in an unincorporated county are or are not sufficient for the proposed amendment. So the Planning Commission reviewed those approval standards and found that the proposed amendment to disallow multifamily housing in an unincorporated county met all four of those approval standards. And based on that finding, they recommended approval of this ordinance to you, the county commission. So that's where that one sits.
So I requested an update on things that were in the pipeline. And
Yeah.
that was my request to see if the county would still be held liable for those types, and I think you had an answer for that.
Yeah, so in response to that, prior to the moratorium that was, began in, I believe, the April Planning Commission meeting, prior to the moratorium, there were no multifamily housing projects. During the moratorium, we had a couple property owners reach out to our department regarding multiple family housing projects. And one of those landowners did submit an application. Being in moratorium, we notified that property owner of the moratorium and let them know that essentially what our land use code says. It says you notify the applicant of the moratorium, and you let them know that if a decision is made, they'll be notified of that decision when it's made, or if the moratorium expires, they'll be notified so that their application can proceed.
And you took that to the ombudsman, right?
Correct. I also reached out to the ombudsman specifically
Do you
regarding.
want to explain that, what the ombudsman is for everybody? While
Yeah,
we're-
so the Office of the Property Rights Ombudsman, it's an office of the state, specifically staffed by land use attorneys to assist both public, so cities and counties, as well as private individuals, and any legal concerns between those two parties. So not private versus private or public versus public, but specifically public versus private. So I reached out to them regarding some of the concerns on that were voiced by you, Commissioner Summers, as well as some property owners regarding regulatory takings. And according to the Property Rights Ombudsman, as no property owner had submitted an application prior to the moratorium, no owner has a vested right to multifamily development. And additionally, it was stated that this regulation does not restrict the use of property to the point that it has little or no economic value, which is one of the other things that's looked at as part of a regulatory taking. So it would have to deplete the economic value of the property so much that it has little or no economic value. So, and he stated where there's still economic value as far as farming, as far as agricultural, commercial, and other
developments.
single-family type developments, that it would, regulatory taking would not come into play in this situation.
Okay. You guys got any questions?
I don't.
I can just tell you that I should say, my phone number is out there for everybody. So I've had probably 40 calls and I don't know how many other messages. And to my surprise, I think people would be interested in knowing that it was probably 3/4 to 1/4 that they were against the multifamily dwelling. But then I had a couple of big landowners come and talk to me and say that their concern was kind of you let the nose in the tent of people telling what they can and can't do with their land. They were very concerned, to say the least. So I had a good conversation with, I can't remember who called me yesterday, but we talked for probably 45 minutes about land use and things like that. And I kind of said that usually the Bear River Health Department takes care of most of that stuff. If the perk test doesn't happen, if they don't have water, if they don't have sufficient land to put these type of things, because she was underneath the impression that 40 units were gonna go on 2 acres. And I said, well, that legally can't happen. So with this text amendment and stuff, that will just basically say, even if they do meet those things that we used to have, nothing will happen in the county from now on, right?
As far as multifamily goes, correct.
Okay.
But that doesn't restrict them from doing that in incorporated cities
No.
either. They can
Yeah.
follow their land use code there.
And actually works quite well with the ordinance we just passed, with the annexation issue, where they can annex into a city to be part of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the other thing that we were talking about before that, and you know, we might not see in our lifetime, but somebody as a developer comes in and decide they want to take down 200 acres in Bothwell, and they decide they want to run sewer to that opportunity. Now there's basically nothing. If Tremont City comes and annexes that property in Bothwell and has sewer, then high density will happen. So, I mean, sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, because I know that we're growing enough that something might happen to that effect, and there would be nothing you can do about it, so.
I'd make a motion to adopt ordinance 588.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, do you want to read your,
Yeah, we're to the point of public comment. Obviously, public comment is intended for no action to be taken at this time. We have 3 people who've submitted to make public comment. So we've got the information here, we'll call their names out. Each speaker will be given 3-minute opportunity to speak. They don't have to take the full 3 minutes, but they'll be given up to 3 minutes, at which point we'll let them know their time's up, regardless of the number of items they wish to bring forward or talk about. So it's not based on items, it's based on just a time frame. Speakers also will address their comments to the county commission only, not to the group, and this time is a time to be heard. There will not be back and forth dialogue between the commissioners, there will not, and then if speakers choose to, they can file copies of their remarks or supporting information with the county clerk, and the county clerk can make that information available to the county commission. So with that, we have,
I would say the same thing with the people in the audience. We just need to make sure that we're recording and being decent to everybody, so there'll be no outbursts in the audience either.
yeah. So we have 3 individuals who've asked for public comment. First, we have Dennis Holland, Dennis, and then also Susan Holland. If they want to come forward and speak.
And if you still want to talk after that, then after the thing's been done, if not, then you can pull your stuff back and not have to worry about it.
We just need you to introduce yourself. You want to
You just
sit
sit
right
down and
there,
put it
that-
right in the
next
mic.
to the mic, yep.
And where you're from.
Introduce yourself and where you're from, yes.
My name's Dennis Holland. I'm originally from Indiana, a small town. Lived out in the country when I was a child. And it was always my dream to live on a rural spot in an old farm type place. So I did live in Salt Lake City for a few years, worked there. And got the opportunity to buy an old farmhouse that was a homestead for a dairy. And it was in bad shape. And my wife and I fixed it all up, and we really love the place. And we love the way of life, the way Box Elder County is now. And that was my thing, was the way of life that I have here is like where I lived in Indiana without the humidity. But anyway, I wanted for this to pass so that we don't get, I have a son that lives in Saratoga Springs, and if any of you have been there, I love to go see my son, but I feel like I'm in a sardine can when I go there. And I just didn't want that to happen to Box Elder County. And I appreciate your guys' input and forethought.
Thank you. And where do you live in the county? Just,
Up by Fielding.
okay, thank you. And Susan Holland, did you want to?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First of all, I want to say to you,
Paul.
Susan Holland,
Yeah,
sorry.
pull that mic right up next to you.
Susan Holland, I live in just west of Fielding. And first of all, I just want to say to you, Stan, thank you very much for listening to me the other day. I don't get involved in government stuff very often, but as I get older, I'm finding I need to. I usually let things just go. But I thank you for adopting this amendment. That was my husband. We love it here, and we were concerned that if this didn't pass, we'd have to pick up our stakes and move somewhere else for the rest of whatever days we have, and we didn't want to do that. I understand all of the pros and cons. I get all that. But I just think that for the pleasure of sitting out on my swing and swinging on my porch and looking out and seeing a field of whatever they've planted and the mountains and the quiet and my owls hooting, I couldn't get any better than that. And I'm not trying to say that people who would come would be bad. I'm not. I'm just saying my way of life would be totally changed. My son loves it down in Saratoga Springs. Kudos to him. But I remember growing up in that area when that was just Saratoga and would go down there to it was a small little thing like lagoon. And now I don't recognize it. So I think for the rural parts of the county, this is the best way to go. And homes are something, a lot of homes in a field is something else. But I thank all of you, and I thank you for listening to the public, for what the public wants, not what a few other people, I'll just say, not what a few others want.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have one last individual, Deanna Hardy.
Sorry. Okay, Deanna Hardy, Brigham. When I was reading the approved Box Elder County Commission minutes for my public comment periods, there were important details missing from the minutes. On the August 16, 2023 minutes, there was no mention of the road just east from me that was illogically removed from our precinct, and we were jumped clear over and connected with citizens by the mountain. This would reveal that gerrymandering took place. The minutes for September 13th, there was no mention of me being denied twice to audit my state delegate election, and that my husband had to get former Representative Ben Ferry to speak to then Box Elder County Republican Chairman Scott Erickson so that we could see the election ballots, which we were finally able to audit the ballots, and it revealed the corruption that had taken place, that I had been wrongfully eliminated. There was no mention of when 4 citizens who came to audit the primary elections in 2022 that we were told by the county clerk that the state said we could only audit one box and which box we could look at. If the citizens are not able to conduct an audit without government interference, the elections are corrupt. We request that the approved minutes for both of the dates stated be amended to include the important details left out. Respectfully, the Box Elder Committee of Liberty. We'd also like to extend an invitation. Our committee held our monthly meeting on September 28th, and we invited all representatives of the county to attend. Sadly, not one representative attended. After listening to political analyst Derek Moore, we found his presentation very valuable, and we would like to schedule a work meeting either before or after the regular county commission meeting so that he can share his presentation, which will assist you as a public servant. Mr. Moore has already given this presentation to the Orem City Council, and they were very appreciative and even asked if he would return to their meeting to provide more instruction. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes all those who've asked for public comment.
Okay, we have no closed session. Everything's
But we do need
signed,
to go to RDA.
sealed, delivered. That's what I was just making sure. Okay, we're gonna have this recess. We're gonna open up our RDA meeting. And as soon as she changes the tape, you guys are more than welcome to leave in between this.
Ready?
We just gotta approve
Okay,
minutes.
we're recording in RDA.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve the RDA minutes from 7/19/2023.
I'll make that motion.
Sorry, I can't do much. I'll second that.
Just nod.
I'm not,
I have a motion by Commissioner Perry and a nod by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Business expansion and retention services RDA contract by Monica V. Holdaway.
Monica V. Holdaway. So I'm just here, the commission asked for a yearly report on the contract with the Box Elder Chamber of Commerce, so I'm just fulfilling that requirement prior to the budget getting approved, I learned. This year, we've done over 50 visits to businesses. I could list them all, but there's a lot of them. Some of them maybe visited with both of the hospitals, everything from a doctor to a small Main Street business to banks to new businesses, so kind of a little bit of everything. Hotels, just kind of checking in. The biggest concern for businesses is still employees and getting people to be able to work. We have a very high labor force participation rate in our county, so people who want to work are working, and people, we just need more people to come to the county and work. Some things we are doing that are new, we received a grant from the American Chamber of Commerce Executives, and so we're actually working on a big workforce project right now. One of those projects will be, it will be live hopefully in the next 2 weeks. It will be an economic data portal on our website that will show commuting patterns, wages, large manufacturers, it will show us the different industries, and it will all be available to anyone on our website. So we're really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Other things that I've done, in July, I went with Sean Milne and Troy Lamb. Sean is with Bragg and was kind of newer, and then Troy Lamb is with Department of Workforce Services, and once again, a little bit newer to our area. And so we went and we met with Steves and Sons, the new door manufacturer. We went with Niagara and took a tour of the water bottling, met with Volcraft and learned a lot about their business. We also met with Gem Buildings here in town and Storm Products. And then we're gonna do one in November with the Tremont area large businesses, that to hear about their workforce needs, their economic development needs. So we're going to get that planned. and see, the chamber has also done tours of Storm, Autoliv Tremonton, which was amazing. And then we also went to Procter and Gamble and received a tour and saw their expansion opportunities. We, as the chamber, conduct a Box Elder Economic Development Committee meeting every month. That's the first Thursday. And they are the ones who help us plan the business summit and just kind of get general updates on what's happening. We did have a very successful business summit in March, and we are planning the one for 2024. We're starting to plan it now, and it will be again in March in 2024. It will probably have a very high focus on workforce.
Can I just say, maybe we ought to get Lakeshore execs to come out and just
Yeah.
introduce themselves?
Yep.
That would be kind of
Yep.
cool if you could get the brothers out here to do that. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be amazing. Then also with that, like I said, issues that the businesses are seeing, childcare. Employees, a lot of our businesses run 24/7 and childcare does not. So a lot of that, so we're going to talk about, we'll probably talk childcare. We'll have that. We're going to talk about the new initiative the chamber is going to be running, which will be an online portal system to help people find the skills and the jobs and match them up. We're in the process of working on that. And then also just about it's called the SHIPs, entrepreneurship or internship, apprenticeship. And there's another one. It's not entrepreneurship. It's internship, apprenticeship, and Sean, help me out. What's the other ship? I can't remember it.
The other ship, we said,
Internship? Returnship, maybe it was
returnship.
returnship, about getting people back into the workforce. But anyway, we are, like I said, we're currently planning that. One of our bigger successes as well was we held 2 career fairs at both high schools. It was huge. So instead of just having them walk around and talk to the businesses in the main area, we had businesses actually taking a classroom, and for 2 hours roughly, they were able to go to about 5 businesses and learn about careers. So they spent 15 minutes with an attorney. Then they went to P&G or Autoliv, or we even had Kent's Bakery in Tremonton. We had a mortician. The kids loved it, like learning about these businesses. And we were able to give away $7,000 in scholarships, $3,500 at each school. Some of those students have already put those to use.
that is awesome.
And like I said, Bear River High School, we had 36 businesses signed up and showed up and were in rooms. And Box Elder High Schools had 46 businesses participating. The hospitals were very popular. Their rooms were very popular. Here in Box Elders, police and fire. So this coming year, I have to get Tremont and Police and Fire to be there because that was a really big one. We already have those 2 dates scheduled for April.
That's cool.
They'll be April 9th at Bear River and April 16th at Box Elder. So, and the great thing is guess who reached out to me this time?
Who?
The teachers.
The teachers.
The 2 teachers at the high schools that do internships, they called me and said, we need to get on your schedule.
There you go.
When are we going to do it?
That's
And
cool. What a
yeah,
great
I
idea.
was
And
pretty
this
amazed.
time, education will have a room, right?
Yes, education. It was
Since we held it
hilarious. The 2 teachers said, we missed one. And I was like, what? And they were like, teachers. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. So it was just funny because neither of us, I didn't remember and neither did they. But we are already scheduled. So that one, the chamber doesn't, we just organize it. Businesses give donations, we get sponsorships, and then support from you guys help pay for those scholarships. The chamber doesn't keep any money for those events. It's going all right back into into scholarship money. We did have a small business conference in May. We do hold 3 educational events throughout the year. Topics have included building a team and being a great leader, engaging, recognizing, and retaining employees. And then we are planning our November one, and I'm looking for a speaker now. So yes, I know, November's very close. So we've been busy, lots of new things at the chamber, but we think we're going in the right direction of being able to help the businesses. We do take calls on startup businesses. On our website, there's a startup business guide, as well as links to the county, the 2 Tremont City, Brigham City's starting a business page, and the Small Business Development Center. So if they do miss me or can't have or don't have time to meet with me, they can definitely get some information online. But I'm available to meet with them as well if they set up the appointments.
I don't know if you heard when Lee was talking about freezing taxes. I mean, that's something that maybe some of the people will actually move here for. You know, I mean, it's the whole state, but, you know, if
Yeah.
they like the area.
Yeah,
that could be a positive, you know, without having to have people leave. I mean, we're losing 7,000 people a day roughly to other counties to
Counties.
work. So we figure
Yeah.
if we can, you know, stop just half of those, the people would be,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, when we look at commuting patterns, we have lots of people going out, but we also have lots of people coming
Yes.
in to work at our facilities because we are one of the higher paying counties in the area with Northrop and some of our other manufacturers. So it's going to be interesting to see those commuting patterns. I looked at them, but I haven't studied them yet.
who you looking about talking? What subjects do you want the speaker for? in
For November, I'm looking for an artificial intelligence AI person who can talk about using AI in your business, the pros and cons, and what to watch out for. So I reached out to Bridgerland. I'm going to reach out to USU.
So the president of Utah, or University of Utah, was the one who announced that initiative. I don't know if he'd come or send some representative, but you
Do you
could
want to
probably reach out.
Do you
I
want to
can-
reach out and
I
give him
can-
my number?
I can reach out.
That would be
It's him.
awesome. Yeah, because,
Yeah.
we know AI can be very helpful in businesses. I used it twice myself this week for the first time, and I may have fallen in love with it. But I also know there's some things you have to watch out for
Yeah.
and how to protect your business if you're going
You
to
shoot
use
me a
the
text and
AI.
remind me after.
Yep, I can do that.
So when was this meeting you were talking about?
The AI one,
November.
or November 9th. is
Oh,
when it's
November
gonna be.
9th. I was gonna say we have a water meeting on the 2nd. I was just wondering if we were on the same date.
No, mine's the 9th, and it will be here at the Brigham Academy Center. We actually have an event in Tremont tomorrow morning for our Meet the Candidates event for the Tremont Council.
You're good.
So what, you said, April 9th for the Bear River Career Day, and Box Elder was what day?
April 16th.
April 16th.
Yeah, we need agricultural represented.
I told you I'd
Market
do it
now.
last year.
I know, I
It was
know.
a terrible winter, but this year I'd like to do it.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we would love to have you. So, yep.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so yeah, the contract has been sent to the attorney's office. They had a few little grammatical changes. I was out of the country last week, so Ann sent the changes in to you guys, I believe. And then, like I said, we don't invoice for any of the county stuff till January, so.
Thank you.
I will just let you know, the Utah Economic Opportunity Commission is actually one of the things you'll see coming in this year's legislature, they just approved this morning, was to look at ways to improve the childcare issues, and possibly using, and they may even reach out to counties and cities, but to use maybe government facilities to allow for childcare, you know, bring the facility, the people who want to run the center and provide them with the ability, a center to run it in if they have the space.
And I know there's an initiative that if a business doesn't want to run a childcare, they can receive money to help fund a childcare facility. And
that's-
they've come and
You'll
talked
see
to
some
me.
things, I think, coming through the state that could be beneficial to our group here. So with that, I'd make a motion that we adopt this RDA contract 2303.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a Grundle by Commissioner Bingham. All in
He sounds a
favor?
little sick.
Aye.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for the support.
Thank you. Seeing none, I
Motion to adjourn the RDA meeting.
motion to adjourn the RDA meeting.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. And seeing nothing else for the other meeting, I'd make a motion to adjourn from commission meeting.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by
Second.
Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. That was a good one.
Okay.
It just barely came through after we had already.
If that makes sense to you. Talking about that indigent defense fund, it sounds like we have to contribute.